Hello out there, James here. Hope you're having a good evening. Thought I'd make a quick video. It's not gonna be that long like I normally do. It's kind of one of those videos that I make about an hour, and it's a topic I want to talk about tomorrow. Well, actually tomorrow. Yeah, technically it's gonna be tomorrow. I'm gonna turn my, the big 5-2. My birthday's tomorrow, so hopefully I wanted to make a video that that tells there's a different topic that really crossed my mind, and it's consistently I made videos in the past about it, about interracial relationships, and how you pick a person, just pick them. Basically, don't worry about what people say, what people assume, what people really, you know, you find a person, you find a person, if you find someone outside your nationality, and that holds true to this day. And the reason why I'm gonna address this again, because it was something that my neighbor told me recently, and it had me thinking. And when people pick, when they pick a person of a certain appearance, when it comes to their way to dress, the way and their personality and things like that. But most people, when they pick somebody, you should pick them for the long haul run. Especially when in these times right now, when you have people who are involved in different cultures, and if you marry someone of a different culture, if you get intimacy with someone, you find someone attractive in a different culture, and they're outside your culture. And one of the things my neighbor said to me that stood out, that, and I didn't realize it because I recognized it in myself. You never pick somebody based on their race. Let me get this again. You never pick somebody based on their race. Pick them what's in their heart. Why do I say that? A lot of people, you always hear somebody figure that when they pick somebody that they feel like for ultimate reasons, that they might be a good lover, they might be good in bed, they might treat certain type of, whether if you're a man, that a certain type of woman treat you a type of way, so you date multiple different women. If you a woman to date multiple different men of a different ethnic background. But what you're gonna come to the conclusion is, if you hold on to a relationship with somebody for a certain amount of time, you're gonna have to go through some obstacles. And it's because even though the sex may be good, the fantasy of being playing boyfriend and girlfriend be good. But real problems come up into real relationship once you establish a relationship with somebody. Because if you try and do it because it looks right, or it's cool, or it's hip, or you think that the grass is greener on the other side, you're gonna get to a point in life you're gonna find it's not always like that. As a man, I could, only for myself. I don't know how other men are, but particularly being a black male, I have to be aware about some things, and it don't always it don't mean that it don't have to go that route. And this go by, you never, and I feel as a black man that you never pick a woman. Let's say if she's Caucasian, she's white, or she's one of Spanish or anything else. If you pick somebody based on stereotype, that relationship is not going to work. And you basically, because like you know how you trying out some furniture or you trying some food. If you treat a person, if you go out there and treat people like that, it's not going to work, because at the end of the day, that's a human being with flesh and bones, and they have a personality that goes with it, with their personality. And this is what I've learned. And so some men are never satisfied with the woman that they choose. My neighbor says something to me that really stood out. He's a black man. You know, he's some women will find him pretty attractive. Good shape, big fit for a man that his age. He's an older man. But one thing that stood out is that, here you already have a girlfriend who's black too. She's African American, or however you want to paint that picture. But he wants to date a white female, and thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. And sometimes some things are not always the grass greener on the other side. Because if you go with somebody out of a stereotype, because you think that the white woman, if you're a black man, you don't think you're gonna have no problems. You really don't understand people. If you pick a spouse of a different race, a different nationality, pick them because you love them. Don't pick them because, out of a sexual stereotype, or put down one woman versus the other woman, because you're gonna find out that some things ain't true. In fact, it may be a hard obstacle. Depends on the individual's family. Because even though their family might not say nothing to you, because you could be big and strong, you can probably act crazy and knock someone's head off or whatever. But you got to understand that female, and like my neighbor don't understand, is that, let's say you get intimacy with this person, you get intimate with them to the point that everything's going well, say going good, but problems are going to arise. What kind of problems, you might ask? Well, anytime you share yourself with somebody intimately, you're going to draw natural feelings, and that person at some point may want to take it to another level. And if you go to another level, you're kind of in a relationship. I know some people that just want to have sexual friends with benefits. You got people that are like that. But sometimes it turns into something else, because when somebody you feel like could be your partner, because they make you feel good or make you feel special, you might get attached, because when you being intimate with somebody, you're going to get attached out of the relationship. Now, once you get into a relationship with somebody, they bring you into their life, or you bring you in their life, and that's when the ball game change. How does the ball game change? Because sex goes to a whole different level with a person, because it's almost literally like you become the better other half, and you literally, no matter what kind of sexual position you do, you literally become a part of them, spiritually and every other kind of way. If you ever look at it, you ever thought about why? If you ever look at the Bible, I'm gonna use that as an example. I love using the Bible as an example. that, did you know that sex was interpreted as worship? Sex was interpreted as ritual, and then sex can lead to other things that would take you down the path that you don't want to know. And it was never meant, this is true, that it was never meant outside of marriage. And I had to learn this myself, that why? Because you when you giving yourself, it's more than just the physical part. You really giving each other spiritual, transferring the spirits and life, and you connect it, and you become a bond in a sexual experience. People don't realize it. People don't look at it that way. So whatever person you get with, and you should have intimacy with, you have an instant bond with them. This is true. You become connected to them. You get the craving that you want to have sex with somebody, and then you might start taking on certain personalities that this person have, because you just started another connection. So you have to watch what you spiritually connected to on the inside as well as the outside. Now, when it comes to the race issue, and I never thought about it this way until now, till recently, until life has shown me. If you pick, let's say for example, if I picked a white female, I'm just using that as a phrase. I have to know that if that white female being seen with me, some family members are going to be cool. Some friend, you might have a few friends that kind of overlook some things, but overall, when she's out of my presence, it's not going to be good. And knowing that her husband, or if I was her husband or her boyfriend, they're going to ride her. And they go, what I mean ride her? They're going to get on her. They might say something cruel to her because they know that they're getting at me. And how is that? Basically, they then know you're disappointing. You laying up with somebody who's different, that we diametrically oppose. And sometimes it can come from your own family members. People, you say, well, people are human. Some people see people as human. But there's some people that are known to be, and they open up their door, their real side to them. They open up their door of prejudice, because people see each other as the same race, same racial makeup and everything. So they feel emboldened to let things go, to let you know where they really stand at. And say, as a black man, sometimes he don't think that the white female is going to go through that, but she do. It could be the same way with the white male with a black female. She do, or he do. And sometimes it can work out. Most relationships, there's a very few, but slim, that can make it through the times, because in a time of racial incidents between, it tests your relationship. That could be one of the crises. Number two, a health crisis. Three, a financial crisis. A crisis that comes among your family is the fourth one. Then overall, just being able to tolerate someone's habits every day. If you become a couple in a relationship, it's the same thing that if you would pick someone of the same race, which is true. You make and one thing I learned is, a person can have a beautiful body, and you can fantasize the thing that you think that how they would be just by appearance. But once the fantasy's over, the reality kicks in. reality kicks in that they're not who they claim to be. You see that you see that different side of them. You might see the nasty side of them. But when you involved with somebody, you see the real side. Everybody has a real side. And everybody has a kind side, and everybody have a you get on my nerve side. So it's something to really think about when you taking on any relationship. And I was thinking about that when my neighbors were saying that, because you don't ever want to be with a woman out of lust. I'm learning. Just because it looks good, it may not be for you because it's out of lust. But I felt like if I ever fell in love with a woman, it'd be out of love, past the lust. Because the appearance is nice. Well, what it appears, but you hope that the inner appearance is better than the outer appearance. You hope the character on the inner appearance is better than the outer appearance. Because the real side is in them. The appearance is just an appearance. You ever see something that look good, and then you find out later on, you have it for a while, you see what it is, at some point it's going to dissipate. And it's the same thing. I learned this along the way. And I think it comes with time and maturity. And when you a man, you dating different women from ages, sizes, and color. But you gonna feel when you dating them and you being intimate with them, you're going to learn the real side of that woman. You're gonna learn the real side of if you get involved in their life and what's going on in they're behind their closed doors. And some things you're gonna have to be strong, because trials and tests come to test a relationship. Just like anybody who's been married for 25, 30 years, or even more. Especially when you be with this one person, because you find out along the way, you're going to get tired of dealing with other people's drama. If say as in my younger years, and I had to get deliverance from this. And it's really sad to see some men that still can't understand and see when they have something good. They need to kind of wake up and see that if you have a girlfriend, regardless of race, color, and creed, and whether she's the same race or opposite race, if she's the kind of woman that have the wife skills to be a wife, that's the type of woman you want. Because men like me, who've been looking for that for a long time, and that a woman that's going to stick by you through thick and thin. There's men like me that want a woman like that, because it takes time and maturity. And I come to the conclusion that a real man, it don't take 100 women to make a real man. You don't have to bed down with every woman from Rome to Maine to prove that you're a real man. God taught me something. He said, if someone, if you was talking with another man, and you talk about your relationships, and he might be thinking about, or it could be a female that you may not be really attracted to, and you go talk and brag about your life. Some people just run off at the mouth and things, but they never think about one thing. Sometimes people, you saying one thing, but they're hearing another thing. And what I'm hearing that a person is that I don't want to be married. I don't want to be committed. I just want to do what I want to do, get what I want to get, and that's it. When it comes to sex, I want to sleep with as many women as there's been like that, and it's really sad because you spiritually you taking on more problems, like my neighbor. You just don't understand. He's an older gentleman, and despite I hear his testimony about his life, you know, and the way he respond, and it's just something that instead of wanting a woman for the woman, he want the woman because I heard that white women are this way, and it's like when you hear someone say something like that, they're not in reality. It's one thing if you have a preference and one day you say my spouse is going to be this ethnic background. That's one thing, and that person come in your life, and that's who you pick, and they literally come your spouse, and they're from the ethnic background. And I learned this too. Don't go treating whether you're a man or women like ice cream flavors, because you're gonna be disappointed. Because you might find out of those kindly women, there's another side to those women. Are there some women out there, or are bold and brass? Yeah, but it's not based on region, not based on country. It's based on personality and based on wherewithal, what they went through. Because what if you get somebody, and I'm thinking as a man, that you think that you heard that these women are this way, but you get the kind of woman that, yeah, she's from this nationality, but she don't like to cook. You get this woman of that nationality, she don't have personal hygiene. You get this woman from a different personality, she has some bipolar disorder. You get someone from different from this person nationality, and it's war front all the way around, and you constantly get in the fight, and really to the point that it can lead to someone detrimental, getting hurt physically or mentally to the point of death. So you have to watch who you link up with, and this is what God showed me. And like any man out, I've been seeing attractive women out there, and it's easy to look at the body, but you wait for but you sit back and wait. What is the personality like? What is the real person behind the body, the pretty face, the makeup, the real fine bodily shape? What is behind that? Because it's good that men look at women as it's just a natural thing men do. Don't look at an attractive woman. And you see single like myself, yeah, you're gonna look, but you have to be wise. Because if you're not wise, you'll be right back where you started being hurt. Then you finally get with somebody, and it may not pan out the way you planned it. So you have to use discretion. And I'm sure the women who would hear this, would do the same thing when they meet a man. You have to use discretion, because you don't know what kind of person what they real. It's the other side of them. It seems like a fantasy because they look like they could be good and bad. They could be, but because something's good and bad, don't mean that it don't have problems. Somebody don't have problems, they don't have issues. And that's what I learned from the experiences. Because the more you get involved with somebody, you'll probably walking into their life. You open up a book on their life. Excuse me. Oh, jeez. Your life, even though anytime you get with the person sexually, your life becomes their life through sex. Think about it if it was like that in the Bible. If it's through sex, guess what? There's some other things that add along with it. There's a lot of problems that add along with it. So, what I'm saying is, it's more than just a fantasy. The reality of it is, pick the character before you pick the appearance. If you have even in your preference for someone of a different religion, a race of origin, make sure it's your that's what you want. Because the grass ain't greener on the other side. This is what I learned. And because there's some consequences. And I was mentioned earlier in one of my videos where I knew women, some black, some white, particularly I would come across some white who told me about the experiences that they had of the spouse of a different, or the boyfriend, girlfriend, well, mostly, of a different race, and what they went through and how long could they hold on. How long was that relationship last? Because when you want a long-term relationship, it has to go longer than just the sex. It comes with time, and really, the Most High, God, wants you with somebody that you can give your life to. He never really want men to step outside with many different women outside of marriage. Just like men, like we learn with this behavior, but we don't think about the consequences. Because if you have a baby outside of lust, let's say if you go have sex with somebody and that child was born out of lust, most men don't think about this. Some women don't think about this either, but that something, it falls on that child. And that child was born out of sin. And if you don't dedicate your life to the Most High, and that child don't see the example, he or she will play out when they get to be a teenage to adult, doing the same things that their parents did, having relationships outside of marriage, going through, picking somebody, and someone hurting their heart because they don't know how to judge character before color. That's some truth right there. So that's what I learned from that. Having relationships with any woman, regardless of appearance, and particularly if she's from a different nationality. Why is this particular? Because someone from a nationality is a whole different ball game. Someone of the same nationality, yeah, you got some obstacles and things like that, but you understand each other spiritually. You go through the same things logically. When you're an opposing person to this physical world, and you go out together as man and woman. So this is what I learned. That's why I said I couldn't stay in agreement with that. I'm just gonna get me a white woman. No, don't do that. I'm gonna get me a Spanish woman. I'm gonna get me that one. Are you getting a woman because you ain't never had the woman, or are you getting a woman because you want someone to settle down with? Because those lusting relationships don't last. And those lusting relationships, they don't last only for a certain amount of period of time. Why would I want a lusting relationship when I can have a love relationship? Why would you want a lusting relationship when you can have the whole compare? Because lust don't know what love is. Lust know what the flesh is, but lust don't know what love is. Love is more than anything. That's why I'd rather have a loving relationship at this period in my life than a lusting relationship, because lust can't only satisfies the flesh, but love can complete different areas of companionship, trust, and things like that. That's what love can do. Lust can't do that. You can't base something on. Lust is something I got desire something from you, of feeling your body, feeling something, but that it's not. It's temporal. It's very temporary, but it don't solve the problem. Okay, now go away. And that's how men are, and some women get the same way. I just want you for the sex. That's it. Some men it's mostly man behavior, but to me, logically, it don't make sense. But in the eyes of the Most High, it's sinful, and it's fornication. In some cases, at one point in time, it was almost I almost committed adultery. Well, pretty much committed adultery, and it didn't feel too good. And while I'm telling you about the neighbor, he's an older man. He's one of these kind of people that, he's physically strong. He's been through some things and things like that, and he got it going on with his body and everything. But as far as the mind and maturity, and he's about 5-6 years older than me, but yet he comes short. They're saying that why do you have to have someone because you felt like it and you got something good that coming home that a woman that you're messing with is not cheating on you, a woman that would cook for you, a woman that would do anything you ask. Why is that? Why is it you gotta go try something? Why you gotta go sex with something that when you have somebody steady? Why is it? I didn't get a chance to really talk to him about that, but it makes you wonder about men like that. And he uses physical body because he intimidates people who used to he know how to defend himself really well. But when you look at it from the logic standpoint of view, it's kind of like selfish, centered, and boyish. It really is. And what opened up my eyes, because it was one time I was in that kind of behavior too, but I kind of woke up and God showed me how immature that it was. And the consequences of it is. I was one time dating a woman that was separated from her husband. Didn't even think about this, right? I said, well, she's separated. The man's not in the house. But when I talked to a couple brothers, one brother was a Hebraic brother, and the other brother was the other man was a pastor. He said, when I was talking about the woman I was dating, he said, "You do know that you commit adultery." I said, no. Yeah, you commit adultery with some. But wait a minute, no, because I want to justify the sexual relationship with this person. But they point out in the scriptures, yeah, if she's not divorced or single, you're committing adultery, even though she's separated, because she didn't officially make it official being divorced or single. Now you both caught up in fornication, and she caught up in adultery, which I never met her spouse. So even though I didn't know, so I had to repent on that too. I had to repent to the Most High on that, because that's true. if a person ain't divorced and it's not single, and they separated, they legally married until it's officially until it's official. And I don't want to pay the consequences to leave this world that it end up put me in the pit of hell. And that could put you in the pit of hell. Could stop you from getting into heaven too. See, you get to a certain point in your life, it's time to wake up and see that where you want to spend, where your legacy, where you want to spend eternity at. You know, I had my mother was married to a man that was locked up, ran the streets, and I seen this happen personally. You got four baby. You know, he's got four women. Two out of the three, I think 3 or 4 women. He's sitting around and just telling me about his girlfriend's wives back in the day. You know, got all these children that out of wedlock, and out of the children out of wedlock, they all got issues. Kids, the couple kids had enough strength was raised by good mothers and probably good stepfathers to raise them to be productive. But the rest of the kids, his son started doing the same thing. He started going in and out of jail and prison, dating different women, got a couple women knocked up, and now his grandson, who's of teenage age, he's being part of a gang and trying to, you know, titleize dope and things like that. They live in Cincinnati. This happened. They're from Cincinnati. You know, his son and his grandson. His son was doing some stupid stuff, running the streets, having all these different women, because he feel like, and he beat up. He can defend himself. He's attractive male. And I can see how when people got a certain personality, swag, as they would say. But with all that, even though the swag, the streets, the defending yourself, and having this reputation, they never think that there's a consequences one day is gonna happen. People like that, they never think. They're always bragging. And despite, like my neighbor, being locked up in jail, being shot at, or whatever, being in prison, you figured that would be the string enough. That God, when God puts you behind the bars, and you allow yourself to be put behind bars, so at some point I'm thinking to myself, and you get some amount of years, it's time to get your mind right. Something got to get your mind right, because I know you got to be strong when you got to be behind bars with some grown ass other people. But I see, I just said, like my stepdad, I don't hear him telling my mother what he did. He's bragging like he ran the streets. But one thing about most men that do that, I find out, a man that do something and never repents and never sit down and really think and try to prevent the next generation from making the same mistake, I kind of don't want to be around them. I don't really associate with people like that too long, because you're bragging about I could beat up any man I want, and I could take his woman I want, and then you act on it. Then it's in the eyes of God, that's not an honorable man. That's the man of the world. And I think that if my mother was trying to, as my stepdad was, that wasn't an honorable man. His actions was not honorable. And it sounded like to me, even the things that I've done in my life, I repented. My mindset has repented. And said, God, I'm sorry, I let some people, even told a couple close people, I regret the things that I've done because everything I thought what a man supposed to do is really is being selfish. It's not. It's not just a swag. It's not how many people you lay up with that makes you a man. It's integrity and legacy and how you in repentance and prevent and have a talk with people, stop another generation from going to the grave and being cursed or individual. That's leaving a legacy. Not how many women that you get, not how many women that you, no woman, and I think logic woman who wants it would pick a husband wants something like that because she has to be thinking in her mind. You think it's bragging, but I don't know if I can trust you because you are unstable. You may look good, but to her, you unstable. My neighbor don't understand this. Men who talk like, and it's something that you get older men, younger men, I can understand. But when you older, or my age and older, and still doing stuff like that, wow. Wow, that's saying a whole lot. Because I'm looking at it too from of a woman, a logic woman, because some women are not logic. But what if a logic woman look at that and say, I can't trust you. Yeah, you might look good, you got some game, but I can't trust you. Really, I can't. And I can see why someone would be insecure if they get with a man like that. You know, he can rest assured, and he can say all the things that he wants, but his actions show he's a flirt, and he's sneaky with it. And then, two, if you get intimacy with this person, you got to worry about catching something, whatever that they want, because they can't keep it in their pants. So women got to really watch it because whatever man does, she carries that into her system. Carries everything, especially if they wear it without a condom. And it's even dangerous without a condom because it's blood, liquid and everything else, and then whatever comes out of the sex, and then it can develop into something that you have to go to the clinic. It's something how you meet people, and they can't figure that out. That's why it ain't good to just try everything and everybody and everything, because you get everybody and everything, and just because someone you hear that they could do this in the bed and do that in the bed, I be kind of leery, because if they're bragging about that, can you really trust them to be your person that you want to have a steady relationship with? Because they have a reputation. That's one reputation I don't think I want to have. I don't think I want to have that. I don't want to leave a legacy with that. See, I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into things, but logically that would make sense. And integrity means, I learned in this part at this stage of my life, means a whole lot. And the lessons that I learned that the Most High showed me, that's not what type of man He wants me to be. That just to pick somebody because of their race. I just want to pick somebody because what they could do for me in bed. I want to pick somebody based on a certain status. I want to pick somebody when it's more to it than meets the eye. And I look at some couples and how did they stick together for 20, 30 years? The key is there was some storms, but the love prevailed. The relationship prevailed. The trust prevailed. That's what I want. That's what I want I wouldn't want to leave this world thinking I got to be the alpha lover. I got to prove by my sticking my thing in everything, because it don't. At the end of the day, it makes you less of a man too. And then if you want have a spouse, how could they trust somebody? See, he's a attractive person, but he's been all over. And sometimes I wish my neighbor could understand that. And I don't know, maybe because I'm another man, I don't know why I confess, but it makes me think, man, there was a time I had that mindset. But I'm glad I got deliverance out of it. And I had to literally get a physical deliverance out of it. I mean, God had to literally deliver me from that spirit of, that wandering, roaming spirit. And that's what it is, ladies. I mean, if you're a woman watching this, it's a roaming spirit. And it's a lustful, roaming spirit. That's what I call it. And I had to get delivered from, God had to show me. As like, hey, I ain't desiring you to do this. You won't be honoring my kingdom. You doing stuff like this. I said, whoa. Because when you get to a certain age, the last thing I'm thinking about is dying and have to go to hell because of my lust, and I never repented. See, some people don't think about that. And then what's worse is that the curses might hit your body. You might not be able to get it up no more. You might catch something that it can make it worse. Some sin that can open up a door that can mess with your sexual organ. My neighbor don't think like that. And many men like that don't think like that, older, younger. It can happen. It can stop performing. It can happen. No matter how many, it can happen. It could be a curse. But men want to be men. And sometimes you got some women try to do the same thing too on the opposite side, where they try to play men. They want men for their sexual benefits and want to choose who they want to do things. That I run across women like that too. They didn't sleep with them, but I've heard some stories. That they just wanted, they attracted this man because he got the swag, put this man on layaway, play with this man. They think that one thing, yeah, you're gonna be waiting for a while, bud, because I'm attracted to this bad boy image over here. I'll give it up to him because he knew how to talk the game. Yeah, there's some women like that. That's what I learned. But what I learned is from this by making this video, and I made it tonight, going into Tuesday morning, is that don't ever pick somebody because of lust. Don't pick somebody because of race. Pick someone because of what's in their heart. Pick someone because their character means a whole lot. Because a character lasts longer than sex. So that's what I learned. I hope, and if any young man hear this, if you're a younger man, stay with the woman that you got. Don't do this behavior. It's not cool. It's not cool to sleep with many different women, because there's a cost in the end. Trust me, in some form or fashion will come back on you. If you're a younger man and you subscribe to one of them, and if you're a younger woman, don't put up with, if you're a younger woman, don't put up with no man like that. If you hear a man like that, hopefully that your friends or someone don't introduce you to somebody like that. Because that's really saying that they can't be faithful. And they need to get deliverance from that. And you don't need that in your life. If a person can't repent and renounce that, you're not gonna be in a happy relationship. If they pick them just because you lust out of race, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. No relationship built a foundation on lust, what preference to be a certain race, or I heard that certain people do this, or certain like that. If it's based on, it's not gonna last, and people are gonna be able to see through that around you. That's real talk. Because anytime you get intimate with somebody, and that person is involved with your personal life, and you in their life, it ain't your life. You know, people gonna see around you. Someone's gonna be noticing, paying attention, and if they love them, they'll warn them. So that's my preference. I never pick somebody based on race. I pick them based on their personality. And I know some people, it might not sound realistic, but it's realistic. Because why would you want something when you why should you settle for a temporal when you should get the best? And you could have the whole package. And you'll be blessed because you picked that one person to carry out, to stay faithful to. Trust me. And I could say, if you're a person that date many different people, and you get intimate with many different people, you open up a door to all kind of hell and havoc and issues and personalities, stalkers and everything. So that's why I say it's not good. People got violent, they got murdering spirit on them. Oh, it's more to it when you date different people. When you get intimate, especially get intimate with somebody, you might take on something that you never would hit your body. See, but people like my neighbor don't think about this. This is the wisdom that come over time. God had to show me these things. So this is what I've learned. So I would say again, don't do it. If you do it, stop it. If you are doing it, repent, turn back around, because the last thing you want to leave is the earth trying to be how many lovers you can get. Because you're going to find out one day and wake up, you're not really happy. People, they're not there to love you. They're there to take a part of you, but don't love you. I rather have someone to love me than take a part of me and just use me for their own gain. And then some people suck the life out of you. Literally suck the life out of you. So that's why it's not wise to share yourself with everybody. Because they could suck the life, the spirit of the body. I don't care if you're strong and healthy. There's a part of you is being sucked away. And people who live that life, you can see their appearance. They look old. They look beat up, worn out. They do. They try to maintain it, but they do. Ever that many people, that's part of the curse. That's part of it. And then then you always fighting and always in some havoc and always in some gossip and always doing all these things because you're tied into somebody that has some mess. You're tied into somebody that you going into the open up their door, and it's a warfare in that background with their family, their extended friends, and all the stuff. No. Pick one person off this planet. That's all you need. If you're a man, woman, whatever, you don't need 100 different. If you're a man, you don't need 100 different women. You're gonna have 100 different problems. In the end, I know I might sound lame to some people. I may sound like I'm a simp to some people, but in the end, they're gonna find out. God will wake them up and show them. I was right, because the curses come along with it, the issues that come along with it. This is what I've learned in my personal life. So I hope you take this advice and pick a character before you pick a color. Don't drive on lust. drive on character and likeness that lead to love. So I hope you if people enjoy this. Till next time, you guys take care out there and be blessed.